Pakistan's military says it's intercepted Indian missiles aimed at 3 of its air bases as tensions between the two nuclear powers continue to escalate. There have been overnight explosions around the Indian city of Amritsar and Indian-administered Kashmir. India says its military has shot down numerous Pakistani drones. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has urged both sides to find ways to de-escalate. At least 50 people have been killed since the fighting did escalate on Wednesday. Well, South Asia Bureau Chief Meghna Bali is in Amritsar, a border city which is now on high alert. Meghna, hi there. Amritsar was apparently struck overnight. What's happening there?
Yeah, hey Lorna, look, people are out and about, doing their business, but I wouldn't be fooled by this. Things are tense and escalating here in the border city of Amritsar. Just, a few minutes ago, our air sirens were blaring all throughout the city, an indication that people should be inside and away from their balconies. Last night we were in a total blackout over the city from about 7 p.m. and we confirmed that explosions were heard just 3 kilometres from where we are right now at an Air Force base, which which has been confirmed this morning by the Indian Army just minutes ago. Them claiming that several Pakistani drones were spotted over military areas, neutralised and destroyed. Now, this conflict is very much expanding and getting worse. There's no two ways about that. This is the first time that Pakistan has hit India's Punjab, in more than 50 years, since 1971, during the last Indo-Pak War. And, this is the 4th night of clashes between these two nuclear-armed countries. So, and there's, as you mentioned there's heavy shelling happening, at the same time along that de facto border of, disputed Kashmir. Casualties are climbing on both sides, nearly 20 on the Indian side, more than 30 in Pakistan.
Meghna, it seems difficult to get clear information. Is there a lot of misinformation about?
Look, yes, there definitely is. We're in the time of digital media. As soon as someone sees a video or, a light in the sky, it starts running on local channels here saying that, the city's under attack. So it's been difficult to try and understand what's happening. But what we do know is, this all began on Wednesday after India launched a series of strikes at Pakistan, aimed at what it says was terrorist infrastructure. Now, this was in response to last month's deadly massacre against tourists in Indian-held Kashmir. India has blamed, squared the blame at Pakistan's feet, which it's denied. What we've seen since then is a retaliation from both sides. Both sides have their own narratives about who started it, but what we know is that there's been a series of drone and missile strikes on both ends, both countries targeting each other's military assets. Now what we've seen overnight is that India has targeted 3 Pakistani Air Force bases, all in Pakistan's Punjab region. Pakistan maintains that its assets are safe, but conceded a few Indian missiles did penetrate their air defence systems. They say that their initial assessment is that there's been limited damage. Now, Pakistan has put India on notice and it's vowed to respond. Pakistani spokesman, and I quote, has said that India is pushing the whole region towards a dangerous war with its madness, aggression and deceit.